Hey guys, this is Red One Maria here, and we're finally getting to do some special effects makeup on Rob. So today we're gonna do a little bite mark, a zombie bite, if you will, kind of a fresh one. You can vary it up to whatever kind of freshness you would like. And we're just gonna go cheap, bare bones, quick and simple. Something that you can kind of do on a shoestring budget. So first you'll need latex, and you'll obviously want to make sure that the person you're putting it on is not allergic, and I know he's not. So cheap latex you can get at any like Halloween store around Halloween time. You can order them online. This is just one. It was $16.99 apparently. Really thin. Okay, and it dries to this kind of gross yellow color that's all over the bottle. Whereas a little bit better latex product that I like to use is the Mayron liquid latex, and it comes in different shades. This is light flesh soft beige. Obviously I use this on myself a whole lot more than I'm going to be using it on Rob, but we can make it work on Rob too.
I am not soft beige.
You are not soft beige. There's some other things you can use. This is just skin prep. You prep the area, get anything, any makeup or anything else off of the skin before you start. And then obviously lots of blood. And this can vary greatly too. You gotta kind of play around with it. So first things first, you're gonna need a container to put the latex in. These are wonderful, and these are Bath & Body Works body spray caps. I keep them, I collect them, I use them all the time when I'm doing this stuff, because you can pour your latex in, it dries, you peel it off, you've still got your cap good to go. So what I'll do is I'll use this first. We'll use both just so you can get an idea of what they look like. And you might need to help me with this cat. No, I got it. This time. And once your latex gets on there, it gets a little hard to take off. And you always gotta peel this yucky skin off the top. And it does smell kind of gross. So be glad you don't smell it. And you won't need it very much. So what you'll do is you'll need tissue. Most places have 2-ply. So what you'll do is you'll have to peel them apart so that it's just 1-ply, or if you buy the cheap 1-ply paper, it'll work. So the cheaper the better. You don't want anything with like a pillowy soft. It's just easier to work with the cheap stuff. So you'll lay it on the skin, or you'll put a little bit down, whatever. Depending on the spot, you might need to put a little latex on the area before you stick it on. And you'll put it on where you want your bite mark, and then you're just gonna kind of dab the latex. Now, these drips on the table are not gonna be a problem because they will peel off, but if you have them on clothes, you're out of luck. So be careful with your clothing. Now see, it's gonna start to stick that way, so you kind of want to get it a little bit wetter. It's gonna take a little bit longer to dry, but once you build up the layers, because you'll do more in one layer to get that bite effect to come off the arm. Try not to get these little wrinkles in here like I did, but we can fix that with the second layer, so don't worry about it too much. Now if the tissue is smaller or bigger than the area, you can always, once this dries a little bit, tear it off and make it more to your liking. I kind of like it to make it a little bit bigger than what I'm going to be working with. So if my bite is big, I want to kind of go around the area because it's going to help it look bruised and gross. Okay? Then you're going to let it dry. You can blow dry it. Totally up to you. If you're impatient like I am, you can do that. So we'll go ahead and let Rob dry it a little bit. Not completely, just enough to where it's not so wet, like it's tacky would be fine. Okay, we got it dry, so it's kind of tacky to touch. This is just a little bit gooey, but that's kind of what we want because that'll help stick our next layer on. Make it as smooth as possible And it should stick really good to the latex that's already there.
It is sticking really good.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and do this layer with this one, just because. And there's always, since this is a little bit thicker, covers a little bit better, so you don't have to do as many layers. Don't be too concerned about the color. You can always put the makeup on. Once you're done with that layer, again, let it dry. Hit it with the blow dryer. We dried the second layer. It's still a little tacky, as you can see. But what I wanted to do is just kind of check the thickness. So over here in the corner, I just kind of am gonna pick at him, and it's really kind of gooey, which is a good time to do it. And you can get up underneath. I'm using a cuticle pusher, you know, push your cuticles back. That's all this is. So I get up underneath and just kind of feel for the consistency. I think just for the bite wound, you might want to go with an extra layer. The thicker the layer, the little more room you have to play with it. So we might go one extra layer on him, and then he should be good. So take it again, another piece of tissue, and do the same exact thing. Oh, see it now? It might tear like that. That's okay. You've got enough layers on it now to where if you just put a little bit more over and gloss it over like glue, you shouldn't be able to tell too much. Will you roll towards me? Okay, so Rob's arm is, for the most part, pretty dry. Like, I can touch it without it lifting off of his arm, but it's still kind of gooey in spots. You can still kind of see where it'll bundle up. And it gives you kind of like a wrinkly skin feel once it dries. So what we're going to do is we're going to start making his bite mark. So I'm just going to kind of go right in with where I think, like, you know, your front teeth will come and bite down on it. So what I'll do with my little cuticle pusher is just kind of dig in. And the reason I want it a little bit gooey and not completely dry is it allows me to get in here not a little bit. Now this might hurt you, so let me know, because I don't know where your skin is. Like on myself, I know and can feel where it is. But I'm just going to keep lifting and lifting until you can feel it tear. Now don't be too concerned with the area around it if it gets, because you can smooth this out kind of with your with your hands. So I'm going to go back and make like another bite mark hole for the other two. You're going to go around and kind of just, and you know, eye it. You can kind of mark where you want your teeth to go, and if that's not something you know, it doesn't look right to you, you can always change before you start digging in. So it's pretty forgiving, but definitely get a hold down to the skin, because once you start putting the makeup on, it's just going to help the effect of it really like into flesh. This would go good with your Tyrese.
I was just thinking that.
Cosplay. I did one similar. What was that for? A zombie.
Yeah,
no.
the zombie.
Zombie
yeah,
walk.
the zombie walk. The Nightmare at Nipissing.
Yeah. So I did do one on top of my arm, similar to this. So there you go. There's your holes. Yeah. And now we get to do the makeup. So inside the holes that we just made, we're gonna use some cheap black cream makeup. You could use a body paint if you would like, or you could even use an eyeshadow, like a dark black lipstick eyeshadow. Anything to make the inside's dark, because it's going to actually give it a deeper look once we're all finished. So I get it in there, kind of swish it around, because you're going to feel it. You can get the brush underneath the new latex skin. So go ahead and wiggle it in there, and we'll get these spots darker. Okay, since this obviously does not match Rob's skin, I'm just going to use a brown Merle Norman flat color to go over our latex, kind of blend in this color to his skin. It doesn't have to match exactly, because You know, obviously the skin around his bite is infected and his skin's starting to get wrinkly, which you can actually move around too. So if you want it sore and, you know, if you wanted it pushed all the way to the wound, you could. I kind of like it like shriveling up like that because we can put some veins and some other things in there, kind of make it look like it's dying tissue.
Yeah, it makes the bite look a little more distressed.
Yeah. Okay, now that we've got the area kind of more towards Rob's skin tone, obviously, ideally, you'd want to buy a latex that's closer to matching your skin, but this works too. What I like to do now is kind of take like a purple color. I've got a cheap e.l.f. palette with every color imaginable in it, and just go through like this, like a deep purple, maybe this or a little bit of this, and just kind of go and look around the edges to make it look bruised. You could put a little green in there if you want him to be more of an older bite. So we want his skin to kind of look like it's been through a lot. I like to do it just mainly around the edges, so it makes it look like the infection is kind of spreading. Okay. And then the favorite part is the blood. Okay. So in and around the bite wound, I like to use the body paint just because it's way darker than the actual eyeshadow type. So what I'm going to do is just mix a little bit of red and black to get kind of a darker color. And I'm just going to tap around the edges here. And then you could take like a piece of tissue or one of these sponges and just kind of wipe the excess. So it gives you that yucky skin, kind of. And this is another way to make that bruising effect too. So you kind of go around the bite where you think it would really be sore, inflamed, and hurting. A little black in there and darken it up a bit. Okay, maybe he got scratched up here. He wants a bruise. It's starting to get nasty. And you could do this with a green or a blue or a black or brown, kind of giving it some age. You could even go around with a brown to just kind of darken the skin. So once we got our bruising in here, we're gonna go and add the fun part, which is the blood. Cheap Spirit Halloween. Yeah, I was gonna say Spirit Halloween. There are some gel bloods that I prefer better. Mayron has an awesome one, but this one dries pretty wet and goopy. You kind of see the consistency of it. You'll go ahead and take that same brush you used to darken up the holes and just kind of fill them in with this. So the blood's kind of mixing with that black paint down there and making it look fresh. Okay, it's gonna ooze out and you may want it to drip. Remember to get that blood in the spots where maybe it's gonna drip down his arm. So you put an extra bunch on there and just kind of let it do its thing. You might want to just give it a little wetness here. Make it look really fresh. There you go. You can see Rob's got a nasty bite. You could go lots of blood, little blood. It's up to you. I don't like to do too much. I think it takes away from the bite. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed our bite tutorial, and I hope you have fun with it. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and let me know what else you'd like to see.